This is Warhammer Vermintide 2. We're on Xbox Series X. The game is now optimized, which is kind of exciting and a little bit funny because I actually did prepare a review on this one beforehand, and now I'm kind of redoing it. Anyways, with that, some exciting upgrades. So beforehand, this was running at a native 4K, and yeah, we definitely had some performance issues here or there. Now it's running basically flawlessly, and we're also getting a boost to 60 plus FPS. So that's kind of exciting because it feels really fluid and really great. So the devs even back in the day talked about, you know, the bottleneck that was created, which didn't allow us to enjoy the fluidity that we wanted, and now we clearly can because this feels absolutely fantastic. So the game also has HDR support, which is great. So I don't know if that's auto HDR. In the past, when I had checked this out prior, because I just mentioned that I had worked on something for this to cover it prior, it was auto HDR, so I don't know if they've actually implemented a native HDR at this point, but it does support it. So this is a cooperative kind of survival type game. It's basically, I call it Left 4 Dead with melee weapons and set in the Warhammer universe, the fantasy Warhammer universe. So you jump into these groups, 4 players working together. Like, you can play it like offline with AI, or you can play it with AI if there's not real people. There's still like a lot of people that do play this game anyways. But what I'm saying is it's basically just a cooperatively focused time where instead of like zombies, you're slicing through rats and other crazy monsters. It's gory, it's gritty, and it's absolutely fantastic. There are a ton of different campaigns to work through. They add DLC content to it periodically, which helps support the game further. And yeah, they do a really good job with this game. I've been, covering this for quite a long time now, I guess, since the first one. I absolutely loved it. Second one is even more of an improvement in terms of the design, the creatures you have to fight, and generally just the gameplay style. They improve the classes, the characters, the customization within those characters and the classes. Every match you play, you're getting different types of like armor and spoils of war that you can use, and they basically just grant you more power and damage, and there's different difficulty options, and having better armor kind of fills into that whole thing, which is obviously great. Why am I so injured here? Anyways, it's got like kind of potions, like Left 4 Dead would have like little abilities you could use, and it's got it's like special crazy rodent creatures or non-rodent creatures. Some of the monsters are pretty big, and it's got like big boss sections and special abilities for your squad, and it's just a very well done time. So the maps themselves are largely linear in design, but they do give a little bit of a sense of freedom as you move through them. Sometimes you'll get missions where you have to do like certain objectives. Most of the time you're just kind of mulching down hordes and hordes of rats along the way, and it's absolutely delightful. So they mention 15 unique careers here with different weapons, abilities, and talents. Yeah, so every character kind of has different, I guess you could say almost sub-characters to them. Yeah, I don't know why my health is so, like, kind of decayed here for some reason. I just kind of jumped into a match, online to kind of, wow, we are getting absolutely slaughtered here. Yeah, I just kind of jumped in to see kind of the multiplayer aspect of it to show that off. So it's pretty cool. There's lots of different challenges. There's lots of different scenarios. Oh, it's that guy. He's kind of causing problems for us. That's kind of a bit of a pain. Ooh. I guess we'll get the revive going on here. Hopefully the team can get together. But yeah, it's just kind of a really well done sort of thing. And you got this cool, well, I don't know if it's as cool as in the first one, but you got like a nice little hub area you can kind of chill out in before getting into matches. And yeah, it's just kind of, it's very well done. It really is. Like, it looks absolutely amazing. It looked fantastic before. A good sense of atmosphere, environment, stunning environment. It really is, like, visually, I think, a stunning title. And then on top of that, you've got like all these little, I guess you could say little weather variants. You go into all these like really messed up types of locations. So you can like end up in like underground caverns, exploring old lost destroyed cities. It's a very, very well done game, and I highly suggest checking it out, especially if you're a fan of Left 4 Dead. Because again, it kind of just, with the melee fantasy focus, it heads in that direction. And I think it provides something a little bit more updated and a little bit more intense than even that game at this point. They really do hit the mark with this entry. It's quite a blast. It really, truly is. And of course, the intense carnage as you go about, battling all of these creatures. There is a bit of a story here too, I guess you could say, narrative-wise. You're sort of working through a tale, battling, because things are not good. They weren't good in the first one, and the situation's only gotten worse. So you kind of experience that if you work through the missions in a sort of, structured narrative way. But this also, the beauty of this particular franchise and the style of this gameplay is it offers a lot of replayability. So you can, oh geez, that's terrifying, those rats. So you can, replay levels over and over and over again, and it's still, I think it's, ugh, man, this place. Can't remember if I don't think I like this level too much. Anyways, you can replay levels a lot, because I think they're designed in a way that keep them, surprising, a little bit unique, and it's just kind of entertaining carnage, destruction, and again, co-op play. There's not a whole lot of titles that really fit into this style of combat and design, and I think, strangely enough, the Warhammer universe, especially this fantasy one that they're deploying here, is particularly fascinating. And I think you should also look forward to, they're tackling the 40k universe in a very, what I understand is a similar fashion. I don't know if we see much gameplay from that, but I think that's also going to be one to look forward to, because I think it's going to be like a launch exclusive or something for Xbox, and, they clearly understand the hardware well, and the fact that they got this running so smoothly and just, like, it looks so incredibly, like, stunning. I think that they're absolutely going to nail that when they get around to releasing that in the future. I don't know if there's any release date or anything on it, but I think that's definitely one to look out for. I think they're going to absolutely nail it. But even just, talking about this game, I think it offers like an absolute ton of content and many different ways to play it and have a good time playing it. I think it's going to perhaps surprise a lot of people in many different ways. With the revive going on, if you haven't jumped into this before. And you don't need to have played the first one to understand, the gist of what's going on here. I want to make that clear. But I do also suggest playing the first one, because I think that one's a blast as well. I honestly kind of wish they would go back and boost that one too, because I do really like it. I think it's a lot of fun, and if you got that little extra thing on there, I think longevity-wise it would be nice to have. Because this is something you're going to be able to play, I think forever down the road, really, in terms of, well, it's running incredibly smoothly, but even if other players aren't here, like real players, you can just jump in and have the AI help you, and, the AI actually is decently proficient in regards to their support and assistance. But yeah, this feels so good now. It really, really does. Because I was playing it without the optimization, because I assumed they weren't going to do one, and then surprise, surprise, randomly they're like, hey, we're upgrading it, and I was like, oh wow, okay, so now I gotta redo that, which is just cool. I don't mind it. I really like seeing what they do with enhancements. It's always fun to see what sort of upgrades are present within the games. And I think this one really kind of hits the mark on being a real good reason to jump back into this game if you haven't, or to maybe check it out for the first time as well, if you're not familiar with this. Oh, really? The cutting guy in the back? Anybody want to take this guy out, please? He's stabbing me to death. He's really cutting me down here. But if you've played Left 4 Dead, this should feel, I guess very similar. Oh, finally I get more of that health meter back up. It should definitely feel on brand with that one, while of course being entirely its own thing. Like, their environments are gorgeous here. Like, aside from the really great, gritty cutting you can do for, like, the you know, the rodents you take on, and the highly detailed weapons, and the, you know, really distinct locations. I think the environment work is just absolutely insane. I imagine some Warhammer fans are probably, you know, really happy about how this one kind of looks and how it plays. But I think in general, even outside of that, just looking at the level of detail and the fidelity in the environments, like this looks amazing. It really, really does. It reacts so well. It's got such an enchanting, like, weird glow to it. It's just fantastic. I think it's delightful, surprising, and just kind of a messed up game too. Like, in the sense that you're, you know, roaming through these really desolate, carved up, horrible locations. Because this is like the end times. That's the first one, was like Warhammer Vermintide, like the end times. So things are not, like I said earlier, they're not great in the landscape, and you really see that sense of like desolation and destruction, and the fact that this, like, could you call it a bit of a plague? I don't know. It's not been a good time. I thought I had my bow and arrow out there. And I like this character because, you know, you got the bow, you got the swords, just kind of like the style of it. But there's, you know, each of the different classes does something a little bit unique. And I think they've done a really good job on supporting this one, providing content for it, and it just kind of shows they really do actually care about the experience in the game. And I think it's fantastic that they actually took the time to sit here and give us this boost. I really do appreciate it, because you know, a lot of other games kind of get neglected over the years, and this is actually a little bit of an older one too at this point. So to see the optimization, it's surprising. I'm definitely not complaining, because I love the fact that we have this available for us, but yeah, it's just kind of wild to actually see that this has become a thing. I think we're out entering a bit of a boss battle here, so I sort of want to show this off too, just so you can see how it looks. But yeah, like the ambience level detail, like I can't believe that this sort of experience exists at all, because it's wild, and I've definitely, I guess you could say, missed the Left 4 Dead style of play, that formula. I think they do a good job emulating it, and I'm honestly shocked that other companies and other developers and publishers haven't tried to jump on, you know, that style of play. I think it's a little bit surprising. Like, look how cool that character looks. They're really quite awesome. Oh no! It's a giant rat thingy, I think, or some other creature. There's other monsters other than rat stuff. Like, there's a lot in this one. Oh, I probably should have saved my powerful ability for battling this. But as you can see, it's just kind of like a little bit of a boss situation, right? And you just gotta pepper this thing. And again, difficulties can play a big part of this. Like, I think we're on like a fairly normal difficulty option, and it can get rather intense. Like, it can get really difficult, and you're gonna need better armor in order to tackle that. Where'd they go? Oh, they're there. Just kind of on autopilot with my shooting. This thing is absorbing shots. Oh yeah, and I also like the banter and the dialogue between the characters. I always find that really entertaining. Whoa, that was I was not expecting that. It's just got like a neat sense of co-op, a neat sense of teamwork. You know, everybody sort of fills a role, and I'm kind of a little bit disappointed I didn't end up in any areas where we do more, I guess, objective solving, if that makes sense. Because a lot of the time, you're actually working on completing like tasks and missions while you're doing that. And whereas this time we just really were kind of cutting things down, taking out different enemies. Oh wow, I'm out of the arrow ammo there. Ooh, really? Miss out on the die. I guess they kind of earned it, even though I think I did a lot of the damage. And now we're in the escape portion, which is kind of fun. Yeah, definitely playing a little bit more than I thought I would have, but it's so fun, and the fact that it moves like it does now is kind of absolutely thrilling to me. It really does feel so good. Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised by it. Anyways, that is Warhammer Vermintide 2 on Xbox Series X. I hope you enjoyed this look at it, and I mean, jump into it if this looks like your type of experience.